Welcome to the new blueprint for achieving career success web class. So please stick around because later during this call, what I'll do is I'll give you all a course of mine for free that I hardly ever give away. What I'll also do is I'll give you all 3 life-changing tools that will immediately help you accomplish way more every single day and help you to be worth a lot more money in the very, very long run. And so I'm passionate about helping my students take their careers to the next level. And today I'll explain how to get the best business education in less than 1 year without massive tuition fees and other expenses, because I want to humbly help my students save time and money. Now, I want to help you to finally break free from feeling unappreciated, uninspired, and underpaid. And so I'll explain how to get your MBA starting today at Haroun Education Ventures. And what I'll do is I will walk through walls for my students and help you all reinvent yourselves today. And so now is the best time to take your career and your personal life to the next level. And so I want to thank you all for joining me today. This webcast is going to be a lot of fun. And so my goal is to humbly help you be able to live your life on your own terms. Now, in terms of the agenda for this web class today, there are 3 things we will discuss. The first topic we will discuss is the many problems with traditional MBAs. The second topic will be today's free training. And what I'll do is I'll arm you all with 3 tools that you can use to immediately take your career to the next level. During topic 2, I'll give you this 5-page workbook that you can download for today's web class. And I'm doing this because I want you to see what a sample class looks like in my MBA degree program. In the third topic today, I will cover how, starting today, you can get a modern risk-free MBA that is affordable, convenient, and fun. After the third topic today, what we will do is a 30-minute Q&A session. And you can type your questions in the chat. And what I'll do is I'll answer all questions at the end of today's web class. And after the Q&A, I will announce the free gift for everyone on today's call. So let's now begin with topic 1 of 3, which covers the problems with traditional MBAs. Now, most MBA programs, including the Haroun MBA program, consists of 4 main categories of topics. And I'll explain what these 4 categories are today. In addition to the 4 main categories of topics taught at most MBA schools, I have a 5th category, which I humbly think is life-changing, and I will reveal what this 5th category is soon. But first, I want to introduce myself to all of you and tell you why I am teaching this MBA degree program. So I'm originally from Canada, and I moved to the San Francisco Bay Area years ago, and I have 3 sons, Andrew, Matthew, and Dylan, and a wonderful wife, Christine. And my sons, who are older now, my sons and I love video games and edutainment, meaning education and entertainment. And edutainment is a big part of the MBA program. And what I even did was I created a video game in one lecture to teach about a case study of Apple hypothetically buying Nintendo. I'll show that lecture to you very, very soon today. And after graduating from McGill University with a Bachelor of Commerce in 1994, what I did was I started my career in the consulting industry at Accenture. I then moved to New York City and I worked at Goldman Sachs in the International Equities Division for 5 years. And everything I teach you is based on my own real-life practical experience and not based at all on theory. And so I received my MBA at Columbia University in 2000, where Warren Buffett and Bill Gates guest lectured. And what I also did was I then worked in the hedge fund industry. And in my career, I've managed and raised over $1 billion. And I met with Bill Gates, and I never throw anything out. I met with Bill Gates several times, actually. And I actually started my own hedge fund, and I worked at a hedge fund called Citadel. I worked at many, many companies. So during the evenings, I taught at a number of San Francisco Bay Area universities. And I learned that my passion was helping students reach their full potential in life. I then moved to the venture capital industry, and I also taught at a lot of other schools, like Stanford University's MBA program, where I guest lectured and mentored many students. I participated on panels, and I selected and judged many Stanford MBA student business plans. And I realized that what is taught in university is not helpful. So what I did was I met with many of the top business leaders, and I asked them, what should be taught in business school? And I actually included all of this in my book called 101 Crucial Lessons They Don't Teach You in Business School, which I'm humbled to say Forbes magazine called one of 6 books every entrepreneur needs to read right now, along with Peter Thiel's book, Simon Sinek's book, and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Then I quit the venture capital industry and I started teaching full-time online on great websites like Udemy. And I'm humbled to say that my courses have generated more than $10 million in revenue, and I have more than 1 million students in every single country. And what I do is I teach based on my real-life practical experience, as I have well over 25 years of work experience in many sectors. I'm clearly dating myself there. And given my experience in many business sectors, what I do is I actually kind of think of myself as a waiter. Okay, I think of myself as a waiter, and the waiter explains, and this is where I propose to my wife, but the waiter explains all the items on the menu, and I explain all the items on the job menu. And what you do is you can pick whatever career you're most passionate about in my MBA program, and I actually help you. I help you to change careers and actually find your passion. Now, I found success in my career, but not fulfillment. And something was actually missing. And I actually realized that my problem wasn't unique. And so, after I worked in corporate America and in many countries, I discovered that, number one, people work too many hours for too little money. Secondly, hard work does not always equal success. And lastly, 3, very few people are actually happy in their work, which often transfers into their family life. This was apparent to me when I was let go by a company after I made the firm a lot of money. And a lot of my students who make their firms a lot of money are not treated right, and it's just not fair. And so the problem is that MBA schools don't teach you how to be successful. And traditional MBA schools teach us theoretical concepts that were maybe relevant last century. And so what I did was I thought to myself, how can I learn the skills needed to advance my career or business? And what would that be worth to me? And so what I did was I actually I focused on my weaknesses, like improving my presentation skills and also improving my networking skills. And I actually changed what I thought about selling. And I thought to myself, how can I learn and teach business concepts the easy and fun way? Now, how did I go from venture capital to the world of education? Well, what I did was I started to teach in East Palo Alto, close to where I live. And in East Palo Alto, the high school graduation rate is only 40%. And all these kids have deadbeat fathers. And I'm on the board of a charity here called the Limo Foundation. And I wanted to help. And so what I did was I created a course for them called an entire MBA in one day. And I even made them degrees, which you can see right there that they're holding. And many of them are very successful now, which is awesome. Makes me feel so good. What I did was I put up a camera in my house to share what I taught with them. And I wanted to share with everybody. And this accidentally became my 8-hour course called An Entire MBA in One Course, which humbly has made millions. But I never did it for the money. Because if you chase money, you lose your dreams. But if you chase your dreams and you don't give a damn what people think of you, then eventually something wonderful happens. Your dreams come true and the money follows accidentally. It always does if you're persistent, which I'll teach you in my 300+ hour MBA degree program. And also, I created a degree for my students in the program as well. And the genesis for all of this was teaching at the Limo Foundation. It's funny how it works out. Okay, so in this charity where I taught, called the Limo Foundation in East Palo Alto, our mission statement is this. It's wonderful. Don't expect to accomplish your dreams in life unless you help other people accomplish theirs first. And you can't reinvent yourself or make your dent in the universe unless you follow your heart and you chase your passion. So let's talk about accreditation. Accredited traditional MBA schools don't help you achieve your full potential. Now, here's what Elon Musk has to say about this. As much as possible, avoid hiring MBAs. MBA programs don't teach you how to create companies. And our position is that we hire someone in spite of an MBA and not because of one. The COO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, had this to say. While I got great value from my experience, MBAs are not necessary at Facebook, and I don't believe that they're important for working in the technology industry. And one of the very first Apple employees, this great guy, he's brilliant, good dude, named Guy Kawasaki, he said this: for every full-time engineer, add $500,000 in company value for a company, in a company value. But for every full-time MBA, traditional MBA, subtract $250,000. And Peter Thiel, who I've invested with before when I invested in my venture capital fund in Palantir many years ago before the IPO, he said this: never hire an MBA. They will ruin your company. And of course, he's referring to traditional MBAs. And Mark Andreessen, a couple more here quickly. Mark Andreessen, who's a top venture capitalist, and I was once on a board with him, he said this: MBA graduating classes are actually a reliable indicator. If they all want to go into investment banking, there's going to be a financial crisis. If they all want to go into technology, that means a bubble is forming. Two more. The founder of Intuit, which makes TurboTax and QuickBooks, he's also a Harvard MBA. He said this: when MBAs come to us, we have to fundamentally retrain them. Nothing they learned will help them succeed at innovation. And the last one here is a Stanford MBA and a marketing guru named Seth Godin. He said this: an MBA has become a two-part machine. First, the students are taught everything they need to know to manage a company from maybe 1990. And secondly, they're taken out of the real world. And so these are just some of the many companies that don't require you to have a university degree to work there. The world is changing when it comes to perception of university degrees. So the bottom line is that business schools do not prepare you for success. In fact, the most important business skills you need for every job, nobody teaches you. Let's talk about the 3 tools that you can use starting today to make you more productive, save more money, and thoroughly analyze any company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you all to download the following 5-page workbook right now. So here's how you do it. Please go to this web address here, all lowercase, harouneducation.com /day1 as opposed to 1 day. So download that, harouneducation.com /day1. Download the workbook. And let me actually go there with you right now. So you go to harouneducation.com /day1. All lowercase. Okay. Cool. So what you'll see here are 3 workbooks. And whenever I teach my classes, every class has a different workbook. There's more than 100 of them. And the contents of all 3 are identical. I do this in case you want to use Google Docs or Microsoft Word or use the PDF version, okay? So I'm going to, and when I create this program, I try to make it accessible to everybody so you can take this on a desktop, laptop, etc., depending on what product you have. The only software product I want you to have, if you want, is Microsoft Excel for when we do some of the Excel exercises. Okay, so here we open it up, okay? And there are 3 topics here. And if you click, and this is the way all my workbooks work, if you click on any of these topics, you jump directly, immediately to that topic. Okay, so there's 5 pages in this workbook. So let's go to page 2, or you can click on the hyperlink here. Okay, great. So what I want to do is I want to show you a 1-page daily planner that you can use to make sure that you're way, way, way more productive every single day. If you want to get something done, you give it to a busy person, because we all know that, you know, when we don't have much to do, we don't get much done. Like when I go on vacation, I have nothing to do. You know, I don't even have time to work out for some reason. Okay, so you can download this if you want to in PowerPoint format. So if you click here, this will download it in PowerPoint. And this version here works on Google Slides, Keynote, and LibreOffice, or the free Office product. But what I'll do now is I'm actually going to use the PDF version here just to show you how this works. Again, this is topic 1 of 3. Okay, so here it is right here. So this is a daily personal growth dashboard, okay? And what you do is you enter in every single day, except for weekends, you enter in what you're going to be accomplishing the next day, okay? And this works incredibly well. So the way it works is up here, and I've set it up so that if you hit tab, it goes to the next fields automatically, or shift tab, it goes backwards. So you enter in the day number, okay? And then the date. You enter the date here. And the day number, I have it set up to try to challenge you, I say it with love my heart, to see how many days in a row you can do this, not including weekends. My record is 30 days in a row. So day 1, not 1 day, enter here. And then what you do is you enter in, you can print this out as well if you want to, but I like to be environmentally friendly. You write down your most important goal, okay? And when it's going to be accomplished by, okay? And you enter this in daily. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a process for using this daily, and you schedule tomorrow's day today. So I usually complete this at 9 p.m. at night before I go to bed. So you got to write down your biggest goal here, your North Star goal, and when you're going to accomplish this by. And the reason I say when to accomplish it by is because 95% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the 3rd week of January because they don't set a deadline date. Okay, so whatever your goal is, enter it here. And if you're in the program, these are the 5 main components I talked about. You can just click here, did you do the quiz or not for each day? And the classes you're going to attend each day for the week, okay? Or meaning when you're going to watch them online. Then you enter in your 3 personal goals here, other goals in brackets. You know, one might be to put on muscle mass or quit a bad habit, whatever it might be. Okay. And then here I have my students enter in what percent of the MBA program have they completed so far. And after every class, what I do is at the end of each class, all 100, I tell you what percent we're done. And then you enter in here what you're going to accomplish the next day. Okay, and I set it up so you can tab between them. And if you have the PowerPoint version open, just click on the tabs, on these, the yellow boxes. And I set it up in case you want to actually hard code it and change these here as well. If you're using PowerPoint, you can go to the slide master to change the template as well. In PowerPoint, I included 365 slides for each day of the year. But this is the PDF here. So you enter in what you're going to accomplish the next day. I promise you this works. It's like mini goal setting every day. Then what you do, and I'm going to scroll out a bit here because you can't see it with the black bar on the bottom there. See if I can go up. There we go. All right, this will be a bit tricky to see. Let me try it again. Okay, but at the very bottom of the version you have open, at the end of the day, you're going to score yourself, okay, before you make next day's one pager. You're going to score yourself and click here. Did you make time for family, if that's important to you? Exercise, nutrition, you make time for that. Did you get at least 7 hours of sleep at night? That sort of thing. Again, you can change all this stuff if you want to as well, okay? And did you make time for you? And then here you score out of 100% how you did that day. And this is very subjective, but for me, for example, if I didn't make time for exercise, I take off 10%. So now I'm at 90. If I missed a meeting or didn't accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, I take off another 10%. So now I'm at 80%. If I didn't spend time with family, I take off 20%. That sort of thing. So score yourself. I promise you this works. A lot of my students have been doing this for years. It's part and central to the MBA degree program as well. I promise you it helps a lot. Okay. Let's move over now to the next component right here. Okay. So we're done with topic 1. And with all workbooks in the Google Docs version, the Microsoft Word version, and the PDF version, I set it up so you can type text here as well. And if you're using the PDF, it automatically, the box gets bigger for you. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first exercise. Now you know how to be much more productive every day. Try it out. I promise you it works. Don't do it on weekends, though, because it'll drive you crazy if you're too regimented on the weekends. All right, next up, let's talk about how to save millions of dollars. And this is a really fun exercise. So what I want you to do, please, is I want you to click this link here to download a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet we're going to do together. Okay, if you don't have Excel right now, you can just watch this. I'll go through this because this is life-altering from a money management perspective. So I downloaded it. It's in the bottom left-hand corner. You can't see it under that black bar. I'm going to open it up in Excel hell. Here we go. Okay, here it is here. And let me make it a bit bigger for you. Good. It's good enough. Okay, great. So what I want you to do once you have this open with me is I want you to enter in your currency here. Just hard code it. Dollars, renminbi, whatever it might be. Then I want you to enter in your favorite charity right here. Right? Like Doctors Without Diplomas or something. That was a bad joke. That was dad humor. That's awful. I got that from Zach Galifianakis. Enter your favorite charity here. And so what I'll do is I will call this for one of my students, the Kemi Tarde School, okay, which is one of the schools we're going to make, and that's not the final name, but we're going to make it actually in Africa. And give me 1 second. I'm going to go off script here, guys. I want to go to Project Magoo and get the exact name of that. Here we go. So this is my charity. This is Vital, who graduated last year. And we're building a school in Rwanda this year, Kenya next year, and Nigeria in 2023. So what I'll do is I'll call it, here it is here. This here is Kemi's school that we're going to build for her, one of my students. Copy. And I'll go back over here, and I will paste this in here. Good. That's the name of the school. All right, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through 6 little questions together. This will be a lot of fun. And if you click on these buttons, it'll just jump down to all 6 of them from a navigation perspective. Now, I don't ever put any macros or code in these things from a vulnerability and security perspective. I don't recommend it. So let's do question number 1. And the way it works is I only want you to enter stuff in the white cells here, okay? All right. So right here, I want you to enter in what is the cost of you buying a coffee or a tea every day. Some people spend $4 at Starbucks, which people call $4. Let's say it's $2, okay? Okay. Well, what happens is if over 50 years, if you make your own coffee at home instead of spending $2, you actually save $850,000. If you and your spouse do it, you save $1.7 million. And this is because if you keep money in the stock market or investments in general, the average return on investment, historically speaking, for the S&P 500 is close to 10% per year. So over here, I created for you, I wrote here, the bottom line is if you saved $2 per day by making your own coffee, tea, then in 50 years, you'd have $852,000 in savings, okay? And if your significant other did this as well, you'd have $1.7 million in savings. Okay, and if you enter a different currency, you'll see it doesn't say dollars there, it says your currency. Okay, and what you can do is, and only change the white boxes, you can play around with this. If you don't think 9.5% is accurate, you can enter in a lower number like 7. You can change the years as well, say 20 years, and say you spend, I don't know, $4 a day on coffee and stuff. It's 100 grand. Okay. So that's the first one. Let's move on now to the second one here. We can just scroll down, and I'm going to zoom out slightly here. Okay, cool. All right, the next question here is, I want you to look at how much money you'll save by not buying Beats by Dre, those earphones. And my son, Andrew, wanted it for Christmas one year. And I actually wrapped up pickled beets. And on the top, I wrote the word Dre on it. That's awful dad humor. I'm sorry. Yeah. He didn't like me that day. But say right in here, whatever product it is you want to buy that you maybe reconsider not buying. So I wrote here Beats by Dre, enter in whatever product it is for you, a car, whatever. Then you write the cost of buying the item. So Beats by Dre, it's $300, let's just say, okay? So if you don't buy the Beats by Dre, then you'll save $325,000 over 50 years if you think you can make 15% per year. If you say, Chris, that's bogus, I can't make 15 per year, make it 8, whatever. So that the Beats by Dre, it costs you $300 to buy, but it actually costs you $14,000 to buy. And this is using some of the basic time value of money formulas we'll talk about in the program. And everything we do in the program, we build on it slowly, so that we take the basics and eventually we add more complexity to it. So you know how to value companies, and then you know how to do options and all that stuff as well. These are Lego bricks because I'm a man-child. Yeah. It's fun. All right. You can do this. All right, next up, let's look at example number 3 here. Okay. For number 3, what I want you to do is, and let me just check the webcast. Okay, we're still go good. For number 3, how many years does it take for your money to double? Okay, and then there's something called the rule of 72, which I'll explain mathematically in a second. So enter in any interest rate you want to right here. So I'm going to enter in 10 for 10%. And we could see here that the rule of 72 will tell you it'll take 7.2 years for your money to double. Now, what that means mathematically is, we double click here, all it is you take the number 72 divided by whatever your interest rate is. So if you save money at a 10% return rate, you'll double your money in 7.2 years. If it's 15%, your money will double in 4.8 years. If it's 5%, it's 14.4. If it's 0.05 right now, and it rounded there, it'll take many, many years, right? And cash is trash right now, fake money here. But we know that leaving our money in the bank is the worst thing we can possibly do, especially because the U.S. government has increased the number of dollars out there by 33% in the past 1.5 years, right? It's not fair. That's why cash is trash, yeah. And I'll teach you how to invest in many different asset classes from scratch in the Mba Degree Program. All right, let's move on now to example number 4 of 6, okay? So this one here, it says, how much money do I need to save every day in order to have $1 million in 35 years? So let's just enter in these numbers here, and I'll leave the interest rate at 9.5%, okay? 35 years. So if I saved $1 every day, it would take, I would have $100,000 in 35 years. Well, it's got to be higher than that. If I make it $10 per day, there we go, I would have just over $1 million. Okay, so if you say $10 a day, that's $1 million in 35 years. It all adds up. Okay, next up, let's move on to number 5 right here. How much money do I need to save monthly at an interest rate of 15% in order to have $1 million in 60 years to donate to my charity of Bo's Tade Memorial School in Kenya that I'm building? So let's enter in some numbers here to see what it would take for me to have $1 million. Okay, so if I save $10 a month for 60 years, I know. It's crazy. That's $6 million. It's unbelievable compound interest, how it works. And you can change these numbers here if you don't want to have 15% or the number of years. Well, what if we made it $1? Well, that's 600 grand in 35 years. Let's make it 2. It's 1.2. So 1.7 maybe? Yeah, about that. Amazing how compound interest works. And I'm going to teach you many basic and advanced tools as well, so you can take your investment game and savings to the next level. Yeah. And when I teach you how to start companies, I'm going to teach you how to do it with no money down, okay? I always want you to use other people's money, and I'll teach you how to raise money as well. We never get bank loans because banks are chicken, right? If you miss one payment, they'll want to take everything. And I'll teach you how to register your company as well, which is universal, works in all countries, so that, God forbid, if something happens to your company, they can't take your assets or the stuff from your family. Okay, let's move on to the last one here for topic number 2. Okay. Now, example 6 of 6 here is if I decided that I wanted to rent instead of, this is big, instead of buying a house. And if I assume that I would pay $600 per month in rent for 50 years, how much money would my $600 per month be worth if I had hypothetically invested $600 per month for 50 years at an investment return of 8%? Okay, so we're going to enter here 600. Okay, the number of years is 50 years. The interest rate is 8.5%. Wow, look at that. I wrote here the bottom line. The bottom line is if you saved $600 a month, then in 50 years you would have $5.8 million more in savings. So anyway, it's a lot of fun playing around with numbers that way. Okay, great. So we are now done with topic 2. And let's move on. Hey, Vital. Let's move on now to topic 3. Okay, so let's go down here to 3. And you can always double click here in the footer to jump to any topic you want to as well. Okay, so topic 3. This one's big. This one took me forever to make, and you're gonna love this. Okay, so I want you to download this spreadsheet with me now, and this is going to help you analyze any investment opportunity for public or private companies. Okay, and so if we click here, we download it from Dropbox. Okay, so it's going to download in the top corner there. Download. Here we go. I've got a light block in the corner of that screen. My bad. And what you can't see is it just downloaded there on that black bar. Let me double click here to open this up. All right. And Excel is opening here. Cool. Cool beans. All right. So this here is 100 steps to analyze a company. And this is one of the gazillions of frameworks I included in the Mba Degree Program. Okay. So at the top here, you've got qualitative research items, okay? And what you can do is you can click these buttons here, or what you can do is you can actually click next step or previous step, that sort of thing. And then down here, these here are quantitative investment research, okay, for any company. And here, these are financials. Everything you need to know. There's 100 steps, right? And it tracks your progress as you go through it as well, which is fun. And so what you do is you enter in here in the settings tab, okay? You enter in the name of the company, okay? And there's just dummy data in here now, okay? The name of the company, the name of the industry, the products, yada, yada, yada. I ask you a ton of things to enter in, the competition as well, okay? And once you enter that in, it all gets populated in this massive document. And what the output is as follows. So there's an executive summary, everything you enter in here. And if you hit print, it's just a one-pager. And many of you have probably seen that in my other courses, but I made actually a much more comprehensive version, which is 150 pages, which is right here in the detailed reports. Okay, so what happens is a 150-page research report is created for you in this process. And I've also set it up so that there are dashboards that are created for you. Now, this here is dummy data. Let me get some more real estate by shrinking these groups here. Good. So whatever you enter in, is automatically going to be updated here. Now, I won't be able to go through all this in a lot of detail because it'll take me weeks and weeks and weeks, okay? But a lot of this is in the MBA degree program. All these charts are created for you. There's no macros, no code in here. I got the size of this file down to 21 megabytes, which is pretty small considering what we can do here, okay? And on every single one of the tabs, okay, so for the qualitative, quantitative, and financial research tabs, anywhere you are, what you can do, I'll click just a random one here. Let's go to vertical exposure. You can click a button, and I have more than 100 videos made for you to tell you how to use that particular tab. For example, if we click here, we watch vertical exposure, okay? So you click here, and this here is just me giving a short video, 4 minutes.
Vertical exposure. Okay, so verticals refers to industries, okay? And the S&P 500, which is a collection of 500 stocks that represents the United States.
Yeah. So I teach you how to use that tab there, okay?
Discuss the current.
Okay, let me close that out because my voice is annoying. And so what you can do is you can look at all of these, okay? And I guide you through the process as well by clicking here on a video, right? So for example, we're at tab 11. And if you click here, you can watch a video that will tell you exactly how to use a tab 11 is as well. And this one's 26 minutes long. Yeah.
For example.
And I teach you everything from scratch.
So here it looks like it's...
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Now this is extraordinarily comprehensive. Okay, so and I teach you how to secure the file as well if security is important to you. Okay, and how to get help with a file. And there's 100 steps, and basically this is just one of many tools in your toolbox or arrows in your quiver, so to speak, that'll help you take your career, your investment game, your personal growth aspects of your life to the next level. Okay, and again, if I were to go through this whole spreadsheet in a lot of detail, which is in the 4th semester in one of the lessons, it would take me a long, long time because we build up in the first 3 semesters to this spreadsheet here and everything I teach you here. And this, again, is just one of many different templates that I have here. Okay. All right. So let me now switch back to PowerPoint up top. Let's move on now to topic number 3 and discuss how to get a modern, risk-free MBA that's affordable and convenient. Have you ever wondered about how much of what you've learned in school you'll never use again? And also, how much does it cost you? Here's a quick story. So after I graduated from Columbia University with an MBA in finance, I was actually looking to buy an apartment in New York City. And I called my classmates that graduated with me from Columbia, and I said, hey man, how does a mortgage work? As they didn't teach us this in business school. And they said, I don't know either. So I called my mom and dad, and I asked them, how does a mortgage work? And so no wonder so many people stay poor. You know, and by the way, you'll actually notice up there, there's a gray safe in the corner, okay? And it's got a question mark on it as I'm about to unveil the first of 5 main components of my MBA degree program. So how many people are taught to make a proper personal budget in MBA school or any school? Hardly anyone is. It's tragic. In my MBA program, I will teach you about personal investing and retirement savings investing as well. I'll also teach you how to save for your kids' education and also easy ways to be a millionaire in the long run. And what I'll also do is I'll teach you how to invest in the stock market based on my work experience on Wall Street, and how to invest in real estate, and also how to invest in bonds, cryptocurrencies, and so much more. And I'll also teach you how to do your own investment research and all about growth versus value investing. And I'll teach you how to understand and enjoy corporate earnings calls so you can be a better investor. You'll also learn how to understand and research annual reports and investments. I'll make it fun too. And what I'll do is I'll bring the secrets of Wall Street to you. because nobody is smarter than you. And I believe this with all my heart, that I actually licensed this video here from the Silicon Valley Historical Association to inspire you.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world, try not to bash into the walls too much, try to have a nice family life, have fun, save a little money. But life, that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it, that's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it, versus embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. I think that's very important. And however you learn that, once you learn it, you'll want to change life and make it better, because it's kind of messed up in a lot of ways. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
And so this brings us to the first of 5 components of the MBA degree program, which is, wait for it, let's open the safe here. It's finance and accounting. And so here's a very short video on what the finance and accounting component of the MBA program is all about. Do you want to learn all of the practical finance and accounting skills that you need to be successful in a really fun way from scratch? In this track, we cover everything from managing your personal finances to even starting a hedge fund and everything in between. I teach you the basics and the advanced ways to analyze and value companies, create a diversified investment portfolio. I also teach you how to invest in stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, and even advanced options topics covering derivatives, investing in options, future swaps, and much more. And I promise you that I will explain it all in a fun and easy to understand way from scratch. You will learn how to use my VFT, meaning Valuation, Fundamentals, and Technicals Investment Research Framework, that uses my specially designed 100-step process and comprehensive, brand new state-of-the-art investment template to research and analyze stocks to ensure that you can pick profitable investments in the long run. When you finish this track, you will be able to manage portfolios like a professional by using the many financial models and frameworks I provide you with to outperform your competition, regardless of whether it's your own money, your client's money, or corporate or government portfolios. This track is so comprehensive and enjoyable. You can go from being financially illiterate to a savvy professional investor in practically no time at all, with the methods that you'll learn to use in these easy to apply lessons. It's never too late to learn how to invest in your future. So please check it out. We can't wait to have you join us. Thank you. Okay, so every single second of the 300+ hour MBA degree program has advanced closed captions. So what you can do is you can search and get immediate access to any point in any given lecture on all devices. And when I say devices, I mean you can watch this entire MBA program on an iPhone, an iPad, any Google Android device, and of course on a Mac or on a Windows-based computer. I also added something called Powersearch. So what you can do is you can search the contents of all lectures. Let me show you this very quickly. Now, at the top of every page in the MBA degree program, you can find this on my website too, at the top of every page. I've got a search bar. And what you can do is you can search for any topic you want, and many of them are covered in the MBA program. So, for example, if we type in income statement, and we hit enter here, you'll see, and these are my vlogs over the years, right here you have all the topics that are covered. So if we click on one, it'll take you right away to where we cover that topic in the program.
But before we get...
Let me pause that. All right, let me go back over here to the next slide. Here we go. Okay, great. All right, so we've actually spent more than $1 million creating this state-of-the-art MBA program for you. And we've got many different sets for all 100 3-hour lessons in the program, which are different. And here's actually my favorite one right here. It's a case study that we do on Nintendo. Okay, so next up, let me just change the scene here. This is fun. All right, let's move on to the second of 5 parts included in the MBA program. So MBA schools don't teach us how to start a company. They don't. Ask anybody that graduated from business school. So do you know how to start a company now? They don't. It's crazy. And MBA schools also don't teach us how to raise money. They don't teach us how to find customers. And most importantly, they don't teach us how to network. And we all know that your network is your net worth. So what is the second of 5 components included in our MBA program? Well, it's actually entrepreneurship. So let's watch a very quick video on what to expect from the entrepreneurship component of the MBA degree program. Over the last decade, there's been an explosion of entrepreneurship with the advancement of technology. The amazing thing is that anybody can start companies now with very little capital and in any country. But sadly, most of these businesses will fail within 2 years. Now, the difference between success and failure is planning and execution, because failing to plan is planning to fail. In the entrepreneurship track, we have what I call our venture capital boot camp. I guide you through all the practical steps that you need to grow your existing company or launch a new company, including raising money, creating a rock-solid go-to-market business strategy, building your management team, determining the product and or service that you're selling, and creating financial statements the easy way. I have a lot of experience with venture capital, as I participated as a teacher and a keynote speaker at venture capital events all over the world, including judging business models on many occasions at the Stanford University Graduate School of Business. In the entrepreneurship track of the program, you are given many up-to-date and easy-to-use templates for writing a business plan, including finding your customers, researching your competition, and securing the necessary financials to ensure your company's success. This section is jam-packed with practical skills and knowledge that will give graduates the upper hand in the new economy. Students are provided with the step-by-step lessons to launch and execute a successful business idea that will thrive today and in the future. If you ever dreamed of starting your own business, you'll be armed with the essential tools needed to ensure success. Learn why relationships are more important than product knowledge, and together, let's build your business empire. I'll see you in the program. Thank you. Graduates of the program love the Entrepreneurship Venture Capital Bootcamp that we have in the 3rd of 4 semesters. And even if you have a small business, the Venture Capital Bootcamp will help you grow or start your business. And the entrepreneurship lessons are set up to help you start any type of company in any sector, anywhere in the world. And this is for small and for big companies as well. All right, let me move on here. There we go. Okay, cool. Next up, let's discuss the third of 5 components of the MBA degree program. Let's see if you can guess what it is. So MBA schools don't teach us how to present. They also don't teach us how to use social media and many technology products to kind of market ourselves. Also, they don't teach us how to write or communicate effectively in business. And most importantly, they don't teach us how to sell. So what is the third of 5 components of the MBA degree program? You probably guessed it. It's sales, marketing, and communications. And so here's a very short video that highlights what's included in the sales, marketing, and communications portion of the MBA program. 2 of the most important skills you need to succeed in your career are the ability to sell and the ability to market yourself. But traditional MBAs place very little, if any, emphasis on this area. They're stuck teaching theories that no longer have any relevance in modern society. In this section of the program called Sales, Marketing, and Communications, you'll learn how to sell, including your products, your services, and most importantly, yourself. I will teach you frameworks for qualifying your leads more effectively, along with an assortment of tips, tools, and techniques that you can use to elevate the value of your offer to your current or potential customers. I will teach you how to sell better than anybody you know. You'll also learn how to communicate effectively during meetings and during presentations, as well as how to appeal to your customers' emotions and how to use empathy as your secret weapon. Inside this track of the program, you'll learn all of the skills needed to navigate the modern business landscape and succeed in any job. Don't sell yourself short. Learn how to get what you're worth. Come and check it out for yourself. Thank you. Graduates of the program love the fact that I'm constantly adding new content to the program based on what new technology skills emerge that help students to sell and market themselves better. All right, let me get this out of the way here, get some more real estate. Okay, so let's actually move on to the 4th of 5 components of the MBA degree program. Let me set the scene here. There we go. So MBA schools don't teach us how to understand cryptocurrencies, as we know that cash is trash, fake money. They also don't teach us how to motivate a team or how to manage people or how to even delegate. So what is the 4th component of the MBA degree program? Well, it's actually economics, management, and strategy. And here's a short video on the economics, management, and strategy component of the MBA degree program and my favorite video game. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's how we say it in Canada. It's a boot. Inside the economics, management, and strategy section of the Haroun MBA degree program, we focus on teaching relevant information for the real world. We also examine how governments affect the economy and what that means for investors. In addition, we analyze successful companies and industry leaders' best practices, which you can apply to your career to take your career to the next level. We'll also learn everything there is to know about cryptocurrencies when we take a deep dive into the topic and consider what impact they will have on the financial systems in the future. This section is full of relevant case studies, including Apple potentially buying Nintendo. This section also includes many frameworks and research systems that graduates always rave about that have taken this program, because it provides them with actionable lessons that they can put into use right away to greatly impact their future wealth. We also discuss, in an entertaining and educational way, fiscal policy, monetary policy, international trade, how to manage and motivate people, and so much more. So take control of your financial future. Success is closer than it seems. Join us now and learn how to achieve your future dreams faster. I'll see you on the inside of the program. Thank you. I had so much fun making that lecture using Super Mario Maker 2 with my kids here. It's awesome. They're actually older now, and to be honest, I actually did it all myself. I played it more than they did. I love it. I'm a man-child, yeah. And we have a lot of fun in this program. All right, cool. All right, let's move on. So next up, what I want to do is I want to talk about the fifth and final component of the MBA degree program, which is my favorite part. And this is certainly not something that's taught in business schools, but it really, really should be. And so business schools don't teach us how to achieve our goals. They also don't teach us how to be much more productive in all aspects of our lives. In addition, they don't teach us either how to interview like a champ so we can get our dream job. And they don't teach us how to make a superb LinkedIn profile or resume. And lastly, they don't teach us how to be balanced and happy in all aspects of our lives. So what is the fifth and final component of the MBA degree program? Well, it's my favorite category, and it's actually called personal growth. And so here's a very short video on the fifth of 5 components of the MBA degree program, personal growth. Welcome to the personal growth track of the program, where you will develop a crystal clear image of the person and future you truly desire. You will learn how to identify and create a blueprint for the future that you want. Now, in this track, you will redefine your image of yourself and grow your confidence by pushing your limits. You'll also be able to market yourself far more effectively because you will have developed the inner belief that fuels your dreams. You will gain improved communication skills that will have a lasting positive impact, both personally and professionally, for the rest of your life, so that you can get the dream job or change careers or get promoted and so much more. Get the confidence and tools you need to create the life that you want. Make the best decision you can make for your future and join me. Thank you. Okay, so all the tools that you need to be successful are in all 5 of the included components of the Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program. And so your opportunity has never been greater, as online education is your new secret weapon to reach your full potential. And I love this quote here from Michael Jordan. He said, "My attitude is that if you push me towards something that you think is a weakness, I will turn that perceived weakness into a strength. And I'm going to turn all of your perceived business weaknesses into strengths with the many tools and frameworks taught in the program." And so, introducing our $999 on-demand Haroun Education Ventures MBA degree program. Don't buy it yet though, please, because I'm going to give you all a coupon. So the program is more than 300 hours of lessons, and you've got lifetime access to all 300 plus hours of lessons. And the program also includes any updates that I add to the program. And what I do is I add many hours of brand new content every single year. And the new content that I add is free for students that purchase the program. You got access to it forever. And this is a risk-free deal, as there is a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And students that sign up will get immediate access to all 300 plus hours in the program. And what you can actually do is you can finish the program in a few months at your own pace, or you can take as long as you want to complete it from the comfort of your own home on a computer, a tablet, or even your cell phone. And all lessons, I got to stress this, all lessons are global and not just US focused, because I have a lot of work experience all over the world. And the concepts taught can be applied immediately in any country, as I have students actually in every single country. Now, the program costs $999 for a one-time payment, or 3 payments of $350. And for United States-based PayPal customers, what you can do is you can pay $0 for 6 months with no interest for 6 months using PayPal credit at checkout. And the program is on sale today for everybody in every country for $500 off, meaning only $499, or 3 payments of $199. And you can purchase the MBA at, if you go to harounmba.com. And you're paying for what traditional MBA schools charge for just 1 hour with my $499 offer. And there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. And so, welcome to day 1, and not 1 day. You get lifetime access, and there are no requirements to sign up, no prerequisites. Okay, and you can actually complete the program in less than 1 year, and also in less than 1 hour per day. It's very flexible. In terms of grading, it's very easy, as there's actually a short quiz after all 100 classes, and all you have to do is to pass and get the degree is a score of over 50% on at least half of the 100 short quizzes. Let me say that again. In order to pass, all you have to do is get a grade of over 50% on at least half of the 100 short quizzes. There's no other work other than that. Plus, there are awesome networking opportunities in the program using Slack, for example, and you'll be able to network with the many students that have already graduated. So again, the cost is the same as 1 hour of what you'd pay at many traditional MBA schools. Now, in terms of student testimonials from students all over the world that have already graduated from the program. And by the way, with all of these testimonials, feel free if you want to reach out to graduates or any graduates from my program over LinkedIn. Okay. And we have graduates all over the world. And the following testimonials I'm about to show you, and I won't go through them all, but you can access them on my website. So we have Dr. Mark from the Philippines. We also have David, and you can pause this if you want to read these or go to my website and read about them. You got Dave Capel, funny guy, from the United States. We got Akil, who's my model student. He's awesome. And these are all people that graduated last year from India. I miss you, Akil, if you're watching. We've got Stella from South Korea. We've got Yoshida-san from Japan. Also Vital from Germany. Now, Vital is originally from Rwanda. And so what I'm doing is I'm building a school with Vital in Rwanda in 2 weeks. Okay, a lot of the profits I make go to fund schools. And then what we're doing is in 2022, one of my other wonderful students named Marin, we're going to build a school in honor of her late great mother in Kenya. And then the year after that, we're going to create a school in 2023 in Nigeria for one of my great students named Kemi Tarde. All right. So we have Eric from the Netherlands. We've got Asan from Pakistan. Jason from Australia. Jason's a great guy. So Jason's the head of the alumni community. He graduated, as did all these people last year. So you want to get in contact with him. He's great. And he holds these alumni community calls every month or so, which are great for networking. Good dude. He's in Australia. We've got Doris from the United Kingdom. Lamarck from the Philippines, the Filipino rock. And I tease him about that because he's a big guy. Good dude, yeah. And actually, I had coffee with him right before COVID started. He was here in San Francisco visiting his family. We've got Dante from Montreal, where I'm from, or where I went to school. Carlos from Portugal. We have people from everybody. Aaron from Ghana. Fanny from the United States, and she also went to Cornell. Andre from Missouri in the United States. Julien from Canada. Solly from Lithuania via Iran. And then also Dave from Belgium. Dave is doing great. He just got a great new job and a fantastic new girlfriend. We text almost every day and have done so for about a year. And then we got Stephen from Canada. And then lastly here, just Mark from the United States. So how much would you be willing to pay to ensure your success? So what I want to do now is I want to talk about accreditation. And in order to obtain accreditation, I would have to increase the cost of the program by thousands of dollars. Okay. I'd also be forced to follow the strict guidelines of a governing body to make a curriculum that would suck. It would obligate me to teach outdated theories while really limiting my abilities to provide practical knowledge to my students. And lastly, by remaining unaccredited, I'm able to personally guarantee everything I teach in the program are lessons you can use immediately in the real world. And of course, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's risk-free. So if you sign up today, if you don't like it for any reason, just let us know and we'll give you all of your money back. Okay, let's now move on to Q&A. All right, so before we get started with questions, which will last 30 minutes, I want to show you how to purchase the program quickly. So just go to my website, or you can actually go directly to www.harounmba.com. Yeah, if you go to my website, you can click here to go to Haroun Mba. So here we go. And as I mentioned, there's a 30-day, 100% money-back guarantee. You'll never find a great deal like this for any other MBA program. And the cost of the MBA is actually less than what it costs for 1 hour at traditional MBA schools. And we cover all the concepts they cover and much, much more, and much more relevant stuff as well. And what I'm doing actually is I'm actually updating this, and I'm adding a heck of a lot of new content as well all the time. So if you purchase the program today, or anytime, you can actually get access to all the new content. Now, currently the program is just over 300 hours, but I'm adding another 30 hours to the program in the next couple of weeks. I'm adding very advanced finance stuff as well, which is going to be fun and easy to understand when it comes to options. Anybody can do it. It'll be fun. Okay, great. So let's start with questions here. All right, the first one I've got here, and I'll read everything in order, and if I miss it, just post it again, please. The first one I've got is from PM, who wrote, "Salutations, Mr. Haroun." Chris, please. How are you? I was curious if you think it's possible to help people learn about business if the mainstream media wasn't so bloated with news and other kinds of entertainment. Yeah. So I pride myself on not taking any corporate sponsors. I get offered all the time. You know, at one point I was in discussions with Forbes magazine to make this exclusive to Forbes. I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing anybody to advertise my website ever, and I'm never taking any sponsorships because I want to provide you with the real news and my humble interpretation of it. And so you can always go to my website, harounventures.com, and at the very top, there's a search bar. You can type up any search term you want to. I've answered more than 10,000 questions live on my weekly webcasts, and I talk about relevant newsworthy topics like NFTs, Theranos, etc. Okay. All right, next up, I've got Asanga, who wrote, "Sir, thank you." Chris, please. "Thank you for everything you're doing for your students. It means a lot. Thank you. And I appreciate the fact you're here. Thank you." Next up, we got Colin. How are you, Colin? Colin wrote, "Greetings, Chris. As usual, it's great to be here. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it." Moving on to Sandesh. How are you? Good to see you. And then Salim is saying, "Hi, Chris and everyone. I'm excited to be part of the crowd." Excellent. Thank you for coming. Then I've got Sanyam, who wrote, "Hey, Chris, great to see you again. Watching your transformational class at the stroke of midnight. Love here from India. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I love India." I've got Sophia, who's saying hi. Good to see you. Fred, who's saying, "Happy to see you, Chris, once again. I hope and trust that you're keeping well." Thank you. Likewise. Likewise. Moving on to Yasir, who wrote, "Hey, Chris, excited to see you for the first time. Thank you, and I hope you join us again." Dinesh wrote, "Hey, Chris, great to see you again." Likewise. Gohar wrote, "Love from Pakistan. The work you do for every student is absolutely amazing, and the reward you get is in everyone's prayers." Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate it. I love my students so much, and I love doing what I'm doing. I don't have a job. I have a passion. Yeah. And nothing makes me happier than walking through walls to make sure that my students reach their full potential in life. It's my raison d'être. It's the reason I'm here. Yeah, humbly. Thank you. All right. Next up, I've got Lester, who wrote, "Hi, Chris. I'm so excited to attend from Surrey, South Africa. Thank you, and thank you for being part of this as well. I've got a husband and wife team from South Africa taking the program now, named Andrew Cooper and Kim Cooper. You can reach out to them over LinkedIn if you want to ask them about the program. Thank you." Himanshu is saying, "Hi, sir. Good to see you. How are you?" No Keen wrote, "Hey, Chris, great to see you. I'm excited about this session. Thank you. And by the way, the free course that I'm going to give away to everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to email it to everybody tonight just after 5 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. PDT. Okay. And if you don't get it by midnight, just email support@harounventures.com, and I'll make sure you get it. Thank you. All right. Camille wrote, "You're awesome, Chris. Thank you. Thanks for teaching me so much. My pleasure. When one teaches, two learn. Always." Okay. Kevin, good afternoon. Good to see you. Samson, what's going on? Uzor, hi. We got Hannah as well. Good to see you. And then we got Malabogo. I wrote, "Good day." Good day to you too as well. Hello, Roberto. And then we got Arati, who's saying, "I have 15 years in the entertainment business, and I'm branching out into education, startups, and hybrid business models in entertainment. I'm taking Chris's MBA degree program. Thank God I found Chris." Thank you. I appreciate your support. Thank you. And if you signed up within the past 30 days, you know you get 100% money back guarantee. Thanks. My marketing team hates when I say that, but it is what it is. Yeah. Big shout out to Joey, who heads up my marketing team. He's awesome in Toronto. And also to Matt Lacousse, my wonderful Chief Creative Officer, who put this together as well. Without those two people, none of this would be possible. Thank you. All right. Next up, I've got Burke. How are you? Good to see you. Funny Kids wrote, "Hi, I admire your work. Keep it up." Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Shinui wrote, "Hi. Keep it up, guys. Thank you. And thank you for the icons as well. I love those. My kids get embarrassed when I dab in front of them now. They're at the point where I'm an embarrassing father. Sorry. Himanshu, good to see you. Thank you. And if anybody's got questions, please let me know. I'm going to do this for 30 minutes as well. Thank you. All right. Next up, Divyang wrote, "Always learning from you. I'll follow all your teaching at my best capacities all my life." Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And then Master Chris Haroun is engraved in my personal growth diary in bold and large. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And doing those daily things. And, you know, I've learned a lot over my career. And y'all know I love quotes. So Michael Jordan said, "I've failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed." And I've had, humbly, a lot of success in business, but I made mistakes. And I found that actually doing the daily planner during the week only, not the weekends, really helps you reach your full potential. And I'm going to teach you many more life hacks as well to take your career to the next level during the MBA degree program. You'll love it, or your money back. Yeah. All right. Next up, AM wrote, "Please post the chat, the link," which I did there. Thank you. And then we've got Allwell wrote, "Chris has inspired me to pursue a path in entrepreneurship, although I'm currently doing an MBA at University of the People, but I prefer practical case scenarios than just reading theories. Thanks, Chris. #big fan." I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, what my program, actually, we have a lot of people that are already signed up for top MBA programs. They've already done it in the past. They've wasted $100,000 doing it. And when they sign up for my program, they've said, and you can read the testimonials, that they've learned more in 1 month of my program than they did in their entire 2-year MBA, and at a fraction of the cost. Again, the cost of this MBA today, the $499 cost, or the 3 payments of $199. The cost of the MBA is actually less than 1 hour. We've done the statistics, we've analyzed it. It's less than the cost of 1 hour at a traditional business school. And you get your money back as well. And I'm updating this all the time as well. And if new social media products are released that help to take your career to the next level, then I'll incorporate that into the program as well. That's my son, Dylan. That was at graduation. He's put his mask on, the COVID mask. We live in interesting times. Yeah. Okay. Next up, I've got Reza. How are you? Tado. Bonjour. Good to see you. Yakum wrote, "Hey, Chris. One of my mentors and I are planning on building a school in Nigeria. Awesome. similar to what you are building in Rwanda. And with Kemi Tade in Nigeria, it will be an honor to have your input. Thank you. And please reach out to Kemi over LinkedIn. She's currently in my program. She'll be more than happy to talk to you. She'll set up a Zoom call with you, etc. Just ask her. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And I believe education fixes every problem in the world. So I'm very passionate about this. Yeah, and my life mission is to provide, affordable access to education to everybody in the world. And you'll notice the quote at the beginning of today's webcast, the splash screen. I had one of my favorite quotes, which is this. See if I can get this in here. The two most important days in your life are, number one, the day you're born, and number two, the day you find out why. And that's a great quote, of course, from Mark Twain. And my goal is to help all of my students find their why. Find their passion, their purpose in life when it comes to their jobs. That's why I'm here, to help you find your raison d'être. And if I don't do that, I've failed. Okay. All right. Next up, Allwell wrote, you're writing to Yacom. Excellent. Cool. And we have great networking capabilities as well within the program, not just over LinkedIn, but we also have monthly calls as well for the alumni. And if you sign up today, I've recently added to the end of the first section of the MBA brand, which you can buy from HarounMBA.com. I've added to the end of the first section a place where you can get free access to Slack forever to network in real time with students all over the world. Relationships are more important than product knowledge. And I teach you a lot more networking skills as well during the program. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next up, Sanyam wrote, what are the 3 corporate finance skills, according to you, and how do you think an experience will be built around it? Yeah. So when it comes to finance, I think that business schools don't teach it the proper way. They have people memorize formulas and use certain methodologies that aren't used in investment banking or on Wall Street. And I know because I have an MBA from a top school in finance, and I've worked on Wall Street and in many different industries as well. The most important one is thoroughly understanding an income statement, which I teach you in a lot of detail with many, many props in a brand new way. The second thing is the balance sheet, which tells you what you own and who owns your stuff. And the third thing that we're going to analyze is what ties together these two statements, which is called a cash flow statement. Okay, not only are we going to cover those 3 aforementioned topics in a lot of detail, but I'm also going to be discussing many different valuation methodologies. And for a sneak peek at some of the mini finance topics I'll be teaching you, please go to that dashboard Excel document with the 100 steps in it. And you'll see a lot of the finance terminology I'll be teaching from scratch. You're going to love it. It's going to be so much fun, or your money back. I really believe in edutainment. I do. And I got a D in accounting the first time I took it in undergrad at McGill University. And I say that because I thought my life was over. And I got a D because I was just memorizing stuff. And I took it again. I got a little bit better than a D. But I took it again trying to understand formulas and why they work the way they do. And I teach it in such a fun and edutaining, humbly, way that my students never forget it. And when I teach concepts in class, it's like a movie or a television show to the extent that hopefully you enjoy it and you don't have to do research on a movie or a TV show afterwards. You don't have to take notes. You just remember all this stuff. That's my goal. That's my raison d'être. That's how I teach stuff. And you'll love it, or again, your money back. God, I sound like a used car salesman when I say that. Okay. All right. Okay, next up, John Cle. Hey, John, how are you? John wrote, this is my complete unbiased opinion, but Chris Haroun is a GOAT. GOAT stands for greatest of all time, or I'm just a GOAT. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, John. Thank you. God bless you. Colin wrote, will the Haroun MBA impart knowledge to start a venture capital company? Absolutely. Everything I teach is based on my experience. I actually started a venture capital firm before. I started a hedge fund. I started a consulting firm. I've done everything in business that I think can help my students take their careers to the next level. Yeah, so absolutely, I'll teach you all of that. Yeah, and the most fun part, I think, is the third of 4 semesters, which is the venture capital boot camp, the first 4 classes of semester 3. And so what I do is I train all of you on how to start a company, how to raise money. And it's based on my real life success and experience, and I made mistakes too, having worked in venture capital. It's also based on my experience having judged MBA students and their business models at Stanford many times, where I guest lecture a lot. It's also based on my experience investing in startups when I attended 500 startups events, and based on the gazillions of meetings I've conducted trying to see if I want to invest in a startup or not. Yeah. Okay. All right, next up, Duncan. Hey, Duncan. I wrote, hi, Chris. Will Bitcoin become a legal tender, or will governments design their own? Yeah. So what's happening right now with Bitcoin is El Salvador is experimenting with making that their legal tender. And I humbly believe that it's a little bit irresponsible. It's fiscally irresponsible to do that because of the volatility of Bitcoin right now. They're taking a big gamble on a country. It's not fair for them. But I do believe that longer term, paper currencies will be replaced with more secure-based algorithms based on cryptocurrencies. Now, the first notable country to do it, large country that is China. And so China is going to be releasing their first cryptocurrency very soon, which will become legal tender. But it's a corrupt currency, I think, because basically they'll be able to track who spends what and where. Right. So I believe in freedom of the individual. I believe that anybody can start a business and put their dent in the universe. And I don't like when governments are taking away civil liberties and whatnot. What will happen next is eventually the United States government will do this. Now, the United States government, the Department of the Treasury, what they've done is they've actually, and I teach a lot about this stuff, macroeconomics and how to build a cryptocurrency computer from scratch, all that stuff in the program. But the United States government, the Treasury Department, has actually hired MIT to do a feasibility study to see if they can take the US dollar and put some more secure cryptocurrency elements in it. Now, I don't think it's going to happen overnight, because the United States government, with their currency, and this looks like the dollar bill from today, but it's from 1934, they haven't changed how money works in forever, actually, like 100 years, it looks the same. And so the United States dollar is still a flight to quality. So they'll be the last ones to change, I think, or one of the last ones, because it's basically a monopoly they have. But the problem with cryptocurrencies is that it's the biggest threat to national security. And let me explain why. This will be interesting. So the biggest power that a government has is the ability to create bonds. Okay, and so this is a real case study we do in one of the classes. And so this is an actual bond, and I use real props always, it's fun. This is an actual bond from World War II. Okay, this is from 1944. It's a war savings bond. And so what the United States government did was, in order to defend their freedom and whatnot and help with the European war, what they did was they actually sold tons of these to the public. Okay, and the reason the public wanted to invest in these things is because the government offered a better interest rate. And so if you're a consumer, let me get a money prop. Hold on a second. If you're a consumer, I've got fake money, tons of props here. If you're a consumer, and we go back in time to 1944, okay, and the United States government sells this bond to you, okay, in return, you all give the United States government money. Okay, and this will make a lot more sense when it comes to cryptos in a second. You all give money. Okay, you get this, you get a return on investment. The United States government uses some of this to build tanks, whatever it is, and they take a lot of it out of circulation. It's gone. And we all know that when the supply of anything goes down, the price goes up. And so the government raised interest rates in this example I showed you. Now, if you take away this capability of governments to do this, meaning if all governments used, if all of us use cryptos and not US dollars, fake money, then what would happen is the United States government wouldn't be able to sell bonds and use that money to defend the country, etc. Right? And that would be chaotic. And that's why cryptocurrencies are actually the biggest threat to national security. And I'll teach more about fiscal policy, monetary policy, in the economics management and strategy part of the Mba Degree Program, which should be a lot of fun. All right, next up, I've got Senya, who wrote, Chris, what is your personal life philosophy? what change you contemplate for near future in your life, like adding on courses, reading books, travel, etc. Yeah. So I humbly believe that if you get out of bed every morning and you tell yourself you're going to work, then, and I say this with love in my heart, you're doing it wrong. You got to find your purpose, your passion. So for me, I love doing what I'm doing. I don't have a job, I have a passion. And that's what I try to teach my students as well. I try to help all my students find their passion. And that's why I use that analogy of this. I'm a waiter, and I expose you to many different careers, okay? And you pick one or two, or whatever one you like the most. You don't order everything on the menu. So my goal is to help people find their passion. And I finally found my passion. Many years into my life, I'm almost 50. My passion is helping people and teaching. So that's the whole point of why I do what I do. And that's my personal life philosophy, is to serve others and help others. In terms of adding on courses and whatnot to the program, I'm always adding new stuff. Okay, every year I'm going to be adding a ton of new stuff as well. It's already comprehensive and complete when compared to all MBA schools. However, I'm going to be adding a ton of new content as well, based on the demand of my many students. And of course, you'll get access to all of that for free. And I'll send out emails to let you know where the new content has been added as electives within the program. All right, next up, RF. I wrote, hey, Chris, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I got to change something here. All right, it jumps on me, so I'm going to search for RF. It happens with YouTube sometimes. Search ARIF. Here we go, I found you. All right, we're back. So RF wrote, hello, Chris. Thank you very much for this session. You're most welcome. Thank you for being here, RF. I've enrolled in your 30-day challenge, and it's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And in the personal growth portion of the Mba Degree Program, we go into much more detail as well in terms of how to optimize your life and accomplish much more in business and in your personal life too. Okay, thank you. Next up, Khaled wrote, my kids would love your name. They love DJ Khaled. Khaled wrote, hey, Chris, thank you very much for this session. You're most welcome. Thank you. I appreciate it. And then you wrote your lifesaver. Thank you. I appreciate it. Lester wrote here, do traditional MBA schools try to discredit your course as they have these 2 to 3 year long courses and demand many extra hour team projects, and yours is shorter and way more affordable? Yeah. So my humble thoughts on where the marketplace is going is, I think by the end of my life, which will be many years from now, only 50 universities will still exist. And the reason I say that is because, a lot of time people go to universities, they spend $100,000, they have 13 hours of class per week, they're massively in debt, and they don't learn anything that they can immediately apply in the real world. And so online education is the biggest threat to traditional education. And if you peel back the onion as well, and you really look at it, I'm going to turn the AC on here, sorry. If you really look at a lot of people that get into these great schools like, Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, whatever, a lot of them got in because their parents went there, or their parents are incredibly wealthy. Like, why is it that very, very rich people, wealthy people, their kids go to top schools, right? It's a scam. They donate money, etc. And there's a lot of publicity around this recently with Felicity Huffman, who served time in jail. She's an actress for lying on applications. And there's tons of bribes going on, tons of them. It's not fair. It's educational elitism. It's toxic. I think it's going to come to an end in my lifetime. And a lot of people are going to think to themselves, well, universities can be a waste of money. So if I go, I'll only go if I get into, I don't know, a top brand name school. But I believe the writing's on the wall. Many of these large universities are going to go belly up. Yeah. Okay. And I hate elitism. I love offering all of my students access to what these schools teach you and much more at a fraction of the price. Yeah. And money back guarantee as well. Yeah. And if you're curious about my general philosophy on life and education, you can go and just do a search for my TEDx talk. I did back in 2016, where I talked about my vision of the world when it comes to getting free access to education, or discounted at least. And I talked about Elon Musk and Starlink in that presentation back in 2016 before he created Starlink. Check it out and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Uzor wrote, hello, Chris. With no background at all in business, because I'm from the IT background, do you think it'll be difficult to follow the program? Absolutely not, dude. No, I start everything from scratch. I assume my students have no background in finance, accounting, or business at all. And I provide you with a ton of tools or arrows in your quiver or tools in your toolbox so that every single business problem that you face, whether you want to start a company or value a company, I teach from scratch in a different way too, based on my real life experience and not based on theory. Yeah. Anybody can do it. All right. Next up, and we got about 5 minutes left. Next up, I've got Sanyam, who wrote, what are the ways you would love if someone would approach you for their program podcast guest lecture? Yeah. So what I did yesterday, in yesterday's web class, was I actually, in the first 5 minutes, I talked about 5 ways to get meetings with potential customers as well as potential employers. 5 creative ways. So go back and watch that if you want to. I promise you it's helpful and it'll help you get a lot of meetings. Yeah. But I teach you how to network and get meetings with lots of people the easy way. And my success rate in getting meetings with people I've never met before, leveraging LinkedIn, has always been around 95%. And I don't say that to impress you, rather I say it to impress upon you the fact that you can do it. And I teach you how to do it. I teach you how to network on steroids in the program, because relationships are more important than product knowledge, and your network is ultimately your net worth. Okay. All right, moving on to Dinesh, who wrote, hey, Chris. Hey, man. How do you find out if someone has similar values as you if you're looking to recruit them for your startup or even finding a co-founder? Thanks. You're most welcome. Yeah. So I teach a lot about how to recruit people as well in the program. And when I worked at Goldman Sachs, Goldman Sachs doesn't hire the smartest people. That's why they hired me. But at Goldman Sachs, you have 40 or 50 interviews before you get in. And so I teach you in a lot of detail in the program how to hire people and how to make the difficult decision to let them go as well. Okay, so I teach you about that in a lot of detail. Yeah. But basically, I believe in hiring very slowly and then firing quickly. And the reality is I don't fire quickly. Maybe kindness is a sign of weakness. I don't know. It takes me a while, but I usually do the right thing. But I believe in taking your time to hire somebody, because we all know that one jerk in a team project in school or at work can destroy the entire corporate culture and productivity of a division. So I'm always very, very careful about that. Before I hire anybody, I interview them many times in many different settings, breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc., or over Zoom. And all of my employees interview them as well, over and over and over again. I usually have an internship program in my company for like 6 months before people actually potentially get offered a job, right? So I'm really, really careful about that. And I believe that, a small group of girls or guys in a garage can change the world. I believe in small teams. I believe in accomplishing much, much more with fewer people, which is what I teach from a productivity perspective in the MBA program. Okay. All right, just got a couple minutes left here. Next up, I've got William, who wrote, hi, Chris. Great to see you. Likewise. How's it from South Africa? Thank you. Good to see you. Hope you're well down there. How would you suggest balancing studying for the MBA with demands of working at one of the big 4 accounting firms like KPMG, I think you're talking about, and keeping up with industry certification? Yeah. So you saw a quick snapshot there in one of the downloads in topic 1 of that exercise workbook, where I teach you how to be much more productive and accomplish much more every single day, so that you can take the MBA program and balance all aspects of your life and accomplish a heck of a lot more every day. And as I mentioned during the webcast, All you have to do is dedicate less than an hour per day to finish the program within a year. Or you can even binge watch it and do it within a month if you want to. Or you can do it over 10 years. You have access to this forever. Yeah. Moving on to RF, who wrote a question about the MBA program. Is it possible to jump directly to entrepreneurship track, or do we need to go step by step? No, this is choose your own adventure. You can watch any of the lectures you want in any order you want to as well. If you just want to do entrepreneurship, then you can just focus on doing the entrepreneurship exercises. Yeah. But in order to get the MBA, you have to actually write 50 or pass 50 of the 100 quizzes. And the quizzes are really easy. After each class, you click a multiple choice quiz. It takes you 2 or 3 minutes, and that's it. Yeah. Okay. But if you're interested in starting a company, jump immediately to the 3rd semester. Go to E3-1. That's Entrepreneurship Semester 3, class number 1, where I talk about the Venture Capital Bootcamp. Yeah. All right, next up, Vikram wrote, hey, Chris, many thanks for all you do and your generosity in helping people. God bless you. God bless you more, buddy. Thank you. Am I right to say that the program, the MBA program, covers all of the individual courses you provide? Way, 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 way more. Yeah. So I teach everything in a completely different way. Right, I have a lot of props, brand new props. I teach it in a much more intuitive way than I've ever done before. Yeah. Okay. And I've got this options course coming out soon. It's going to be a short course relative to what's in the MBA program. And if you've already signed up for the program, I'll add it as an elective to class 89 of 100. Yeah. Okay. Next up, Himanshu wrote, "Sir, I'm a student. I'm a student and a coder. I just have a small question. What would it take for me to learn about business and other stuff like investment opportunities and marketing stuff as well?" I cover all of that. The marketing stuff I cover in the sales, marketing, and communications portion of the MBA program. The finance stuff I cover in the finance and accounting section. The entrepreneurship stuff, starting a business, I cover in the entrepreneurship section, of course. I also cover the personal growth stuff in the personal growth track. And I'm having a senior moment. What's the other track? Oh, economics, management, and strategy. That's the 5th track, where I cover a lot of stuff that top consulting firms like McKinsey use to analyze business models. Yeah, I had a senior moment there. I'm good. All right. And then Hector wrote, hey, Chris, I started following you a few days ago, and I've become a big fan. Thank you. Appreciate it. What is the number one description you could use to address that distinguishes your program from the rest of them out there? Thanks. Yeah. Cost, accessibility, thoroughness, and it's up to date. A lot of other MBA programs teach you stuff that was relevant literally from last decade. And so in the first part of my presentation today, I talked about 5 or 6 different business tycoons and what they have to say about traditional MBA programs. They're out of date, and they actually hurt you and don't make you more productive. They teach you stuff that's out of date, like supply and demand graphs. I'll never teach you any of that crap. I teach you everything that you can immediately apply in the real world to take your career or your company to the next level or your money back. And I'm constantly updating as well. Yeah. All right. And then next up, Tyrell wrote, I love your name. It reminds me of the movie Blade Runner. Remember that the Tyrell Corporation was part of Blade Runner in the early 80s. I love it. So Tyrell wrote, even though unaccredited, will the industry leaders in the finance industry respect the MBA program? They will. They will. I have a lot of students that have gotten jobs at fantastic companies as well. But I can take you to the water, but I can't force you to drink. And I say it with love in my heart. But I guarantee you, if you apply the concepts, especially the networking ones that I teach in the program, you will get the job of your dreams. I promise you, you will, or your money back. It works. It works. I've been doing this for a long time. I have a lot of students that have gotten great success, humbly, applying the concepts I teach. Yeah. Okay. And then Alpha wrote, do you take Bitcoins for fees? Yeah. So I bought Bitcoin years ago. I own a large position. I'm never selling it. And I pride myself on teaching my students on how to fish instead of giving them a fish. And so I've disclosed before the 4 cryptos I've owned that I'm never selling. I own Bitcoin, Litecoin. I also own Ripple, and I own Ethereum or Ether. And I'm currently mining Ether as well right now until December when they change the algorithm. Yeah. All right. Amr, how are you, bud? Himanshu wrote, actually, are you holding up Mark Twain's quote here? Yep. It is my wallpaper on my personal computer and mobile from the day I started following you. Awesome. No, thank you. I love that quote. Dude, it's life-changing. It's life-changing, yeah. I absolutely love Mark Twain. He's great. He's great. Thank you. Okay, Senyum wrote here, how do you approach learning a new skill, like learning a new language? Yeah. So I believe a couple things. Number one, I believe in studying in the first hour of the day, okay, because you can accomplish much, much more. And another life hack I use is I actually get 20,000 steps in this lab here, or my studio, every single day. And I'll show you. I've got a really cheap treadmill under my desk that goes up and down. And the reason I do this is because I try to be as productive as I can. I'm walking now. It only goes up to 3.7 miles per hour. But I find that, sorry about the squeaking, I find that when you're exercising, while you're working, you're bringing a lot more oxygen into your brain and your heart, of course, which makes you more productive and you feel like you just woke up. And so there's many life hacks that I teach, okay? And when you exercise while you work, if you can do it, you are more productive and you're more passionate about what you're doing. I feel more passionate already because motion creates emotion. Now, there's many more life hacks I teach in the program as well when it comes to nutrition, etc., in optional lectures that can help you be way more productive so that you can consume a lot more information in a shorter amount of time. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of learning a new language, coding or whether it's a verbal language, there's plenty of online courses you can take. And I do teach some coding a little bit in the MBA program as well as part of an elective. We do cover APIs as well, optional. Yeah. I was a programmer back in the 90s when I worked at Accenture. Sorry. Okay. Next up, Puang wrote, hey, Chris, I've heard a lot about you from a friend. And I just thank you. Hopefully it's good stuff. And I just bought your course. I can't wait to start. Thank you. And then you wrote, by the way, is this course mobile friendly? Can I watch it on my phone? Absolutely. Absolutely. So the font size, we don't use anything below a font size of like 24 or so. Also, everything you access, all the workbooks, they're in 3 different document formats: Microsoft Word, PDF, and Google Docs. And they're all set up so you can actually look at them all on mobile devices as well. And you'll notice that the screen, the way I've set it up also, is you'll have on one side here, you'll have the slides, and you'll have me as well on the other side. And everything is set up and optimized so you can watch it on these devices as well. Yeah. Okay, you can watch it on iPhone, Android device, iPad, desktop, laptop, whatever, television, whatever. Yeah. It's universally friendly. Yeah. It's the way we architected it. All right, next up, Amr wrote, and it looks like we're out of time, but let me just get through a few more questions. Amr wrote, I already joined the program. I want to start with the finance and accounting section. Can I take all FA classes, or should I just take the whole program in order? If you're more passionate about finance and accounting, you can just watch the finance and accounting classes if you want to, right? Which is one of the 5 programs. So that's 20% of the program as well. Okay. And then next up, PM wrote, Mr. Haroun, do you think your programs and lessons should be common knowledge for Americans? Yeah. So I teach it in such a way that it's applicable globally. You know, I've worked a lot in America, but I've also worked all over the world. And so the topics I teach are set up to help you take your career or your company to the next level, regardless of what country you're in. And yes, I do believe that a lot of the stuff that I teach should be in MBA programs, but it's not. So in traditional MBA programs, they don't teach you the most important skills, like how to network, how to be more productive, how to sell, how to get a job, how to manage your own money. They teach you how to manage other people's money, but not your own. And they teach you antiquated stuff that was relevant maybe last century. Okay. And then next up we got Sunyam, who wrote, with the anniversary of 9/11. Yeah. And I saw the whole thing. I was in New York. I was actually on the most southern building in New York on the top floor, Goldman Sachs, 50th floor. I saw the whole thing. It was awful. It was awful. With the anniversary of September 11th, remembering the lives that were lost and the stories that we didn't hear and met, peace for the world. Amen. Amen. Peace and love for the world as well. My thoughts and prayers are with those who lost loved ones. Yeah. Terrible. Yeah. And then next up, and actually I had a client that passed away. Her name was Naoka Kushitani. She was one of my Japanese clients that was in the World Trade Center that day. It was awful. Yeah. And then next question is, hey, Chris, it's nice to be part of this presentation. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I first got in touch with you on Udemy. Is Bitcoin or cryptocurrency a good investment? I think so. But only buy when everyone else is freaking out, right? If you buy stocks or cryptos or anything when they're on the rise, there's not that many incremental investors to buy them and push them higher. Okay, so you always want to be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. And the best telltale, which I'll be teaching in the options component of the MBA program in Class 89, the best signal or telltale as to when to back up the truck and buy stocks no matter what, is when the VIX is at an all-time high. And I'll explain this more in Class 89. But the VIX is basically an options instrument. You can go to finance.yahoo.com, type up VIX ticker. And when it spikes a lot, it means there's maximum fear in the market. And it works exceptionally well to buy stocks no matter what when the VIX spikes to an all-time high. And it's going to feel really uncomfortable, and it should, because it feels uncomfortable for everybody else to buy at that point in time. I'll be talking about this and much, much more, and more advanced but easy to understand finance concepts and investment concepts as well in the program. Yeah. Okay. But I provide you with a lot of tools on analyzing cryptocurrencies, right? Because the problem with cryptocurrencies actually is that they, let me see here, I got a prop. Oh, I've got it over here. Give me 1 second. The problem with cryptocurrencies is they're not regulated by governments. There should be some loose regulation, right? And so when you invest in an IPO, okay, and this is the Facebook IPO, and I invested in Facebook when it was private in my venture capital firm, and I also participated in the IPO, went long, short, and did well on all sides of the trade. But when you go public, what happens is you have to release what's called an S1, okay? And this is an offering memorandum. And this is created by investment bankers, as well as lawyers. And what's in this S1 document, awful dad humor, I'm sorry. What's in this S1 document are all the risks for investing in Facebook. And this doesn't exist for cryptocurrencies. And so I created a framework in the MBA program that's up to date that will actually help you create one of these things for cryptocurrencies. So we slice and dice and we analyze everything about a crypto, because I think most cryptos are scams actually. And so anyway, it's one of the many frameworks I provide you with, similar to the 100-step framework you saw earlier today in topic number 3 of 3 in that workbook. So I provide you lots of frameworks so you can analyze any type of business model. Always do your research when it comes to cryptos. I teach you how in a lot of detail in the Mba Degree Program. Yeah. But I think most cryptos are scams. Yeah, but there are a handful which I like a lot actually. Okay. And hold on 1 second, guys. Okay. Okay. All right. And give me 1 second. I think my team wants me to wrap it up. Joey, I'm going to take a couple more questions. Okay, dude. Thanks, man. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. Next up, Dinesh wrote, how do I find out what questions venture capital firms would ask in their interview? Yeah, I cover that in a lot of detail in E3-1 through E3-4. That means the third semester, entrepreneurship track, classes 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I cover all that and much, much more because I've started companies, I've been asked them, and I've invested in tons of companies that have done exceptionally well, that have become unicorns, and I know what questions to ask. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Colin. Who wrote, by the way, I compared the Haroun MBA with the MBA and EMBA and postgraduate diplomas offered by the University of Oxford, the said School of Business, And the Haroun MBA has a lot more content, including practical life skills. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I remember Oxford, it's a SAID business school, SAID. It launched in, I think it was 1996 or so. Yeah. It's very theoretical and expensive and elitist. Yeah. All right, next up, Lester wrote, is it too late to study for an MBA at age 55? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, the average life expectancy is 26 years longer today than it was back in the 1950s. So that means you're not 55, right? You're actually 29. Absolutely. And I teach how to change careers at any age, any stage of your life as well. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I had a student graduate last year whose name is Michael Jordan. And my mom thought it was a real Michael Jordan. It wasn't. It was a better one. There's a guy named Michael Jordan that graduated last year. He's over 70. He's based in Trinidad. And he and his wife, Rosemary, watched the program and he graduated as well. So you might want to reach out to, if you want to, find Michael Jordan from Trinidad and ask him about the program. Yeah. All right. I love my students. All right, next up, Jason wrote, I have a traditional MBA and pulled from your MBA program every day. Awesome, thank you. Plus, my kids are starting to use it as well. Chris, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. I hope it's really, really helpful to you and anybody else that signed up or your money back. Yeah, thank you. Okay. And then next up, Shireen wrote, thank you, Chris, for the MBA program. I've completed so far personal growth and entrepreneurship. Currently, I'm midway through entrepreneurship management and strategy, and everything you teach us is eye-opening. I'm learning a lot and enjoying every bit of it. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. When one teaches, two learn. Yeah. And the stuff I'm adding now for options, it's teaching options. It can be so complicated, and I humbly got the top grade in my class at Columbia University, where I did an MBA in finance, in my options class. But I didn't really get it. It was theoretical. So I'm teaching it from scratch using a lot of blocks. You guys are going to love this. Again, I'll be adding this as an elective, a 30-hour elective after class number 89. It's an elective, so that means you don't have to take quizzes for it. It doesn't go into your grade. And I have so many more props as well for it. And I got to nerd out. Hold on a second. So I found that when I was younger, the way that statistics was taught it really wasn't intuitive. It was boring. So I'm teaching about normal probabilities in a fun way and how to find patterns in data, which can make you a lot of money. So I'm going to teach this stuff in a fun and intuitive way. Again, this will be added to class 89. I'm also teaching you about how casinos work and what's called Monte Carlo simulation, right? And so casinos make a lot of money by allowing you to have very, very small bets. Okay, they do that on purpose. And they make money 51% of the time, which is why they make a fortune. And I'm teaching how to do this with options and other investments, which I'm adding as well to class number 89. And I use a lot of props, as I mentioned. And if you don't think I'm crazy already, I'm crazy about my students, but you're going to think I'm crazy now. I help you get the bigger picture and understand all of it as well. So it's going to be fun. And I'm going to take the most complicated topic in all of finance and make it easy and intuitive to understand so that you can all make money as well from small bets longer term. That's how all these big options traders do it. Yeah. I'm going to demystify the whole process of it. Yeah. All right. Next up, Duncan said, I'm originally from Zimbabwe. I'm now in the United Kingdom. And we understand hyperinflation all too well. Will the U.S. stop a QE? Yeah. So QE stands for quantitative easing. And what QE means is increasing, this is fake money, increasing the supply of money out there. As you increase the supply of money, the price of money goes down, meaning interest rates. Okay. And what happened in Zimbabwe was back in September of 2008, the annual inflation rate, the daily inflation rate in Zimbabwe was 98%. Yeah, and that came from flooding the market. The U.S. is going to stop quantitative easing, or they're going to stop printing more money very, very soon, because interest rates can't go any lower, and they don't want to create deflation, which is disastrous. Yeah, yeah. And people ask me, like, why is it that interest rates are still very low? And there's inflation. The price of everything is skyrocketing. We see it all over the world. Semiconductor prices are going through the roof. Used car prices are going through the roof. I don't get it. Why is it that the government is allowing this to happen? Well, the government is doing this because the way that the government props up the economy is they have two medicines. Okay, this has nothing to do with COVID. They have two medicines. One is fiscal policy, the other is monetary policy. Monetary policy is the policy of increasing or decreasing the supply of money. And they can't increase the supply of money anymore, fake money. They can't increase the supply of money anymore because rates are zero. So they're done with monetary policy. What about fiscal policy? Well, fiscal policy means creating stimulus programs. And you can't do much more of that, otherwise you'll bankrupt the country. So how else do you stimulate the economy if you've ran out of fiscal policy and monetary policy? Well, what you can do is you can have the wealth effect, meaning if interest rates are zero, it means that investors don't want to keep money in the bank. They buy stocks instead. And if everybody buys stocks, then everybody's net worth goes up a lot, which is good for the economy because people feel richer and they spend more money. Okay, and that's why the markets are at all-time highs now. It seems illogical, but that justifies what the government did. Now, in terms of inflation, things are not as bad as they were in the early 80s. In the early 1980s, Volcker, God bless him, he passed away. He was the head of the Federal Reserve. What Volcker did in the early 80s was he increased interest rates in America to 20% to fight inflation. Inflation was bad then. It's kind of bad now, but not that bad. And so if the government were to raise interest rates too early, and if another variant of Delta or Lambda, whatever you call it, comes out with COVID, then it's chaos, it's disastrous. So if the government waits a little bit longer, yeah, prices go up. But the alternative is much, much worse, meaning destroying the economy by raising rates. And so I look at the same data everybody else looks at using Google Cloud to analyze the daily COVID rates, etc. And I'm an optimist, but I'm also pretty worried about what's happening in certain states like Florida, where the number of people dying and getting COVID is at an all-time high. And when it came to Labor Day, this past Monday here in the United States and Canada, the number of new cases was up 300% from the year before. And so the government sees all this data, and as a result, they're keeping rates low. But they can't do another quantitative easing or QE. Otherwise, you'll have deflation, which would be disastrous. Yeah. Okay. And you'll also notice there's a lot of market signaling as well, which we cover in the program. So companies like Google and Facebook and Twitter, they have access to a lot of data. And they've just told their employees, don't come back to work this year. So based on that, and based on the fact the government is still not raising rates, it indicates the data they see from a market signaling perspective is pretty bad. Yeah. Okay. And I cover that in a lot more detail in the EMS portion of the program, Economics Management and Strategy. And we're way over time here, but I can keep going. This is fun. I love doing what I'm doing. Okay. All right. Next up, Lester wrote, what accreditation will you be able to put behind your name and on your resume once you complete the MBA course? Purely inquiring from an interview perspective. Tonight was mind-blowing. Thanks, Chris. Thank you. You're most welcome. A lot of people put MBA as well. Nowhere do I advertise it as being accredited. But I promise you, I guarantee you that if you take the program, regardless if you put it beside your name, you are going to take your career to the next level, even if you already have an MBA from another school. Yeah. But if you're curious how people do it, just search on go to LinkedIn and just do a search and see people that put their name there as well, or the name of the degree there as well. Yeah. Okay. Next up, we got Tado, who wrote Independent. Okay, that was a correction from a previous thing you mentioned. Cool. Amazing Videos wrote, my next plan is software engineering, so guide me. Sure, absolutely. So what I recommend doing, and anybody can do what I'm about to mention, even if you're 55 years old, doesn't matter. I recommend taking courses from somebody named Angela Yu. She's a friend of mine. I met her in Berlin a couple of years ago. She teaches on Udemy as well. And she used to be a doctor. And she decided she wants to teach technology and coding. And take her courses. Just do a search on Udemy, Angela Yu. Take her courses on coding from scratch. They're fun. They're fun. And anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Yeah. Okay. And whether or not you think you can do it, you're right. That's it. Love my heart. All right. Next up, we got Syed, who wrote, the course you're teaching in Udemy, is it the same or methods will be different? And do you also update your lectures on Udemy program as well? So it's completely different in my MBA program. It's all brand new. I recorded everything from 5 different camera angles. We invested over $1 million in the program. We've broken even. We've done well with it, humbly. And so you'll watch it all in 1080, but we future-proofed it so we can make it all 4K eventually. And it's all brand new concepts taught in a brand new way, more up to date with more live case studies as well. Yeah. All right. And give me one second. All right. All brand new. Lester wrote, thanks to everyone for the assurance. You're most welcome. Okay, a couple more and I'll wrap it up. Umar wrote here, said, hey Chris, I'm from Pakistan. And here is at 1 a.m. I'm listening to you. Bless you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I have Mohammed from Pakistan that graduated from my program last year. He's from Lahore. You can go to do an advanced search in LinkedIn and search for MBA graduates from my program from Pakistan and contact him if you want to as well. Yeah, part of the network. God bless you more. Next up, I've got Red Fox, who wrote, hi, Chris. Your sessions are great and a lot to learn, and I love your icon. Thank you. Dinesh wrote, hey, Chris, how do I find out what kind of questions Y Combinator would ask in their interview for fundraising? Thanks. Yeah. So I cover that in a lot of detail in the 3rd semester, okay, in the entrepreneurship track. So entrepreneurship 3-1234. That means semester 3 for entrepreneurship. Classes 1, 2, 3, 4. And for those of you curious about what is Y Combinator, so there are what are called incubators that I've worked with a lot in the past in venture capital. And what they do, they're like hotels, except they let startups stay in their hotel and they teach them how to be successful. And they're hard to get into. Only 1% get into them. The number one out there is Y Combinator, which was founded in 2005. They're so successful that $300 billion worth of market cap companies came out of Y Combinator that again was founded in 2005. And only just over 1% of people get into these things. And it's all done over Zoom now because of COVID as well, similar to what I'm doing here. Another one is called 500 Startups. I've invested in companies that came out of it as well. I used to go to a lot of 500 Startups events. And the third one people talk about is not in the Bay Area. It's actually in Colorado. It's called Techstars. And all 3 of those ones I mentioned, the stuff that they teach you, I teach you, but I don't take equity in your company. They do. I teach you in the 3rd semester. Okay. And the way it works is these 3 companies give you just over $100,000, and they own, maybe between 5 and 10% of your company. Yeah. And they train you for a couple of months, and then you leave, and hopefully your company is successful. Yeah. In terms of the questions they can ask you, again, I cover it all in the 3rd semester, the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp. Yeah. Or the Venture Capital Bootcamp. Yeah. All right. And amazing videos wrote, thanks for guiding me. You're most welcome. Yash wrote, my father has a solar products manufacturing sector, and I want to ask to help him grow his business. I'm baffled about how to go with it. Could you guide me on how to help him grow his business? Absolutely. Yeah. So the way I architected the Venture Capital Bootcamp in the 3rd semester, the way I architected is it's generic enough so that whether or not you have a products-based business or a services-based business, I help you take it to the next level. And it's a cliche, but they say failing to plan is planning to fail. And so I teach you from scratch how to start a company and how to take your company to the next level. I recommend you and your father watch it. Yeah. And you can jump right to semester 3 if you want to. You don't have to watch the first 2 semesters. Yeah. You can choose your own adventure in the program. Next up, Himanshu wrote, how do you get good at any kind of case studies in any domain? Yeah. So the way that case study interviews work, and this is what McKinsey does and Accenture does, and I used to work at Accenture. What they do is they ask you a couple of questions about a client they actually have, right? And they change the name of the client so you don't know. And if you give good advice, they use that advice sometimes. But when they ask about the client, they're looking for you to answer questions using structured logic and frameworks. And I provide you with all the frameworks you need to ace those interviews or any type of interview as well. And I do that in the first semester of the program in a personal growth track. Okay, and I give you a ton of brand new templates to bring to those meetings so you can ace your case. Okay. All right. Next question is from Sunyan. Thanks for the session and staying and answering the questions even after the scheduled time limit. You're amazing. Thank you. No, I love doing what I'm doing. My passion, my purpose in life is to help my students. Yeah. If you're not successful taking this program, then I failed, and I'm not going to fail because you will be successful. Humbly. Duncan said, great session, Chris. Thanks. You're most welcome. Himanshu wrote here, really loving this. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. I do. And so this offer doesn't last for that long. If you want, what you can do is you can actually sign up for the program. And the way you do that is you go to Haroun Mba, okay? And you scroll down here and you click buy, and 30-day money-back guarantee. You can pay a one-time fee of $4.99, or what you can do is you can actually do 3 payments of $1.99. Again, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I want to thank you all for your time. Check out the program, and thank you. Appreciate it. God bless y'all. Have a great weekend as well. Thank you.